Hello, viewers and listeners, and welcome to our first and probably the last episode of this podcast. I am Eric John Guillermo Aguilar, currently the Assistant Director of Nursing in Westchester Center for Rehab and Nursing, and a graduate student of the University of Perpetual Help System Delta. I'm currently pursuing a Master's of Arts in Nursing with a major in Nursing Administration. So this interview is a part of the requirements for my course, Administration and Management in the Nursing Profession. Today, we are honored to be joined by a truly exceptional leader. She is a dedicated nursing leader with over a decade of experience as a Director of Nursing. She is also a recipient of the Outstanding Filipino Awards, or the TUFA Awards. And she is currently the Director of Nursing at Westchester Center for Rehab and Nursing. Please welcome our friend of the pod, Dr. Maria Ruth Lopez, RN, BSN, RACCT, IPMAHC. Welcome.
Hello everybody. Hello Eric.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for taking this invitation. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I cannot express my gratitude for you to be doing this with me. Today we will be talking about administrative management functions, leadership effectiveness, and navigating a DOH or Department of Health complaint survey in a skilled nursing facility, which is currently our work setting. Okay. So, Miss Maria, can you please share a brief overview of your role and responsibilities as the Director of Nursing in a 240-bed capacity skilled nursing facility?
Okay, so basically this is a huge position. Let me start with responsibilities and leadership oversight. So that doesn't mean that I'm the Director of Nursing. I'm the only one that's the leader. So there's a lot of components when it comes to leadership. That's why there's an assistant director, there's an educator, there are unit managers, and there are also mini unit staff nurses in the floors. So when I say leadership, it actually points out to the supervision, direct supervision of everybody. That would include compliance, risk and management, and I would also include the quality assurance, right, which we call it QAPI. So QAPI is spelled as QAPI, and as we all know, this is a very significant role in our part of leadership. Engagement is also very important, right? That means for me as a leader, it's been maybe over the decade or more than 2 decades already. I'm sorry, but the engagement is very important. So what do I say about engagement? I describe it as the heart and your soul and your hand together with it, right? You have to have a pure heart. You have to have a soul that really cares for your patient. Because if all of these does not really jive, these criteria would make you a very, very good leader. So apart from that, I think the family advocacy, I would say, because most of our patients in this facility, in these settings, they don't have the capacity to decide for themselves. So what do? We reach out to the family. So that makes us for the family advocacy. I always believe on family notification, and I think you know me. I'm a very strong leader when it comes to family notification, because I believe that the family are the ones, the go-getter, right? Like they are the ones that decides for them. Aside from the fact that the interdisciplinary team are part of the health management of a patient. And I think I put some notes here, emergency preparedness and infection control, and I think you all know about this, and the strategic leadership. of a building.
And I'm just glad that you mentioned, the family and advocacy, because we have to remember, as nurses, we are here to serve our residents. We're here to serve the clientele,
Exactly.
and we need each other. We need to engage and do our roles and responsibilities in order to achieve our common goal. And with you as the DNS, you're the one who supervises us to
Right.
achieve those goals.
Mhm.
So thank you so much. Miss Maria, how do you describe the overall culture and operational philosophy of our nursing department?
I think the culture here is well versed. You know, it's spread out to each. I'm gonna talk about just nursing,
Mm-hmm.
and nursing has a big culture impact when it comes to caring. So we have different kinds of culture that we have. It's in a so-called mix and match personalities. So I think it's very important for us to know that knowing each other's strength
Mm-hmm.
and weaknesses would help us grow bigger and make us a very big believer of culture. And I think with us Filipinos, let me just mention that we're Filipinos, and we're a very big advocacy for care, for hospitality, and we love to care. That's the I think I look at myself as it's my strength and my weakness, because you care so much that you tend to overdo your care.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you question yourself, is it too much or is it less? So as Filipinos, I can speak only for myself. I'm not sure about others, but I think as a Filipino, even if you're not anymore in the Philippines, the caring and the hospitality and the warmth, we bring it, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's the culture,
Yeah.
and that's what I want here, you know. Okay.
Yeah. And despite the fact that we have different cultures here, we come from different countries, we are a multicultural team, but I think our common language would be love and caring.
Mm-hmm.
And it just depends on our level of passion at this point. And we want to be
Exactly.
at the same wavelength in terms of passion.
Yep.
Thank you. And okay, so for our viewers and listeners who do not know what a complaint survey is, in your words, can you briefly define or explain what a DOH complaint survey is?
So DOH stands for Department of Health. So basically, when someone believes that it's a formal report filed with the Department of Health, so it can be filed by either a family, another staff, another patient, or just a neighboring, visitor. So this Department of Health complain when someone believes that a healthcare facility or a nursing home has violated, right, a state or federal regulation, provided substandard care, or failed to protect residents' rights. It triggers an investigation right away. So that's where we initiate or activate an investigation. And that only not comprises me as a director of nursing, but it triggers the whole of the team. So the interdisciplinary team, which consists of rehab, social services, recreation, of course, MDS, and of course the doctors. So I think that's Department of Health complaint.
So basically, in any area of healthcare, we have regulations to follow, and we have the DNS to make sure that all nursing staff are in compliance with these standards and regulations. And whenever we receive complaints from a staff, families, the residents themselves, the DNS jumps in to make sure that we resolve any issues right away before we even get a citation or a deficiency. So, in your perspective, Ms. Maria, what are the key strengths and vulnerabilities of the facility prior to the recent DOH complaint survey, since we had it last week?
So there's only one thing that I always look into it, and I think you can be a big witness to me. Every day, I'm very hard on documentation, right? So documentation will always save a patient, a facility, and the whole entire building. So if you are missing a documentation, then it represents the whole of nursing. I'm gonna speak about nursing only because I am the director of nursing. So basically, what comprises, it's both. The documentation, because when the documentation is not there, that means the care was not delivered. And it would trigger a complaint because the moment that the family member would, I think I would give the best example would be an allegation of abuse, which we recently had. So if there's an allegation of abuse, what are the key elements and the key documentation that we need to show them? First is the care plan, the plan of care, we call it, and we have the documentation upon admission of a patient. We want to make sure that whatever is the allegation was not really present. We want to prove it. And basically, how do you prove it? You prove it by documentation.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I totally agree with documentation. And mastering documentation isn't something that you learn overnight, but it's rather a habit that we do. Anything you do, just document it, because as nurses practicing in the healthcare field, we have to take credit for the things that we do, and we have to document that. And trust me, if we don't document that, after 3 days, you'd forget you even did it. And we need leaders. We need good leaders to share best practices, especially for us, to help understand the importance of the documentation and how to do it right. So thank you so much, Miss Maria. That's just the introductory warm-up questions. And now we're gonna deep dive in planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So for the first part, we're gonna talk about planning, goals, and strategic planning. So Miss Maria, what goals do you set for the nursing department to maintain readiness for a state survey, and how do you develop these goals?
So it's a safe practice to make sure that during morning report, everybody is on board. You know the patient, you are prepared for the morning report. So is it a safe practice? Very safe practice. Because by being ready, you know your patient. Coming into the morning report on time, being prepared, making sure that all your documentations are set. So you have a goal, and that's a practice, that's a daily practice or a routine that you cannot take away from yourself. So let me just point out how we deal with our safe practice. Number one, we check the staffing, right? We want to make sure that we are covered for every unit, for every patient. They're all covered for care, for medications, if they're going to outside appointment, dialysis. That's care. And then I think with you asked me about the key strength. I'm gonna go back to documentation again, because documentation nowadays, it's all computerized. If you didn't do it, if you did not document it, there's no key strength here and vulnerability, because you cannot even show anything, right? When it comes to Department of Health survey, complaint survey, infection control survey. With all these surveys ongoing, I think the best practice is to make sure that you're prepared, you know about your patient, documentation, care planning, and it's personalized.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you. Basically, we just need to know what's going on. That's why we have the morning report and discuss every pressing issue and nip it in the bud. And now, since you mentioned staffing, I know staffing is very important in any healthcare field, even the nursing home. So how do you assess and resolve staffing needs across units, especially during high stress periods such as a DOH complaint survey? Is there changes that you do whenever there's a survey versus the daily regular?
I think looking at all the years that I've been with the DOH, so basically you want to, number one, you put the best people, staff that you have. Why? Because you have Department of Health. It only happens once in a lifetime, once a year, maybe every twice a year now because of COVID. So I would my best practice for myself is 2 days before I would check it with the staffing coordinator. I want to make sure I call the staffing coordinator. I ask, is there any gaps? Is there any issues? Are there any challenges? How about the weekends? So it's very, very important to have a good communication with the staffing coordinator. Why? Because the staffing coordinator is your gateway, is your gatekeeper to everybody in the building. So if I cannot ask them, it's the staffing coordinator who can actually deal with them. So if I'm having an issue with 1 or 2 or 3 staff, then the staffing coordinator is the best person to deal with them. So I think basically what I'm trying to say here is staffing coordinator, interdisciplinary team, all of this management is very important. We play a very important role.
Thank you. So basically it's preparation, preparing ahead of time, and making sure that we coordinate with the staffing coordinator. Thank you. And how about budgeting and resource allocation? Do we have any financial or resource related challenges that we encounter during survey, and how do we address them?
So I'm gonna talk about financial. We're lucky that we're not encountering any financial issue, but at the same time, it all boils down to staffing again because it's finance. So when it comes to financial, the ownership is very supportive of everything that we have in the building. So if I want to hire 2-3 more staff, then they're very supportive of everything that I put on the table. So I think I would say no, because we're very lucky to have this kind of ownership.
And as long as we communicate to the ownership about our needs, they're ready to help us out.
Plus, I think I would add that we have been using few agencies, and these agencies are really racking us down when it comes to finances. But because of the complexities of admissions that we're getting, we also have special assignments, which we call it here like a 1-to-1, or every 15-minute monitoring, which requires additional staff. I did not encounter any problems or issues with the ownership.
So we have alternative means to hire staff, be it direct hire or agency, to make sure that we fill in the gaps and
That we're
provide
covered.
Correct. And we're covering the units.
Yeah.
So we don't have staffing shortages. Thank you. And now let's talk about organizing, especially in delegation and workflow. What is your approach to delegating responsibilities among the ADON, such as me, the unit managers, supervisors, and frontline staff during a DOH survey?
So I am not a micromanaged leader, but when I see or feel that a person or a staff or a manager requires more time, then that's the time that I have to intervene. So with this kind of delegation, I would say that I assess one's intelligence, engagement, and the time element is very important, because when you see a person not engaged with work, then you see half-heartedly that she cannot even finish a very simple task. So I think with delegation, I pick and choose the people that I want to surround me with. I want the staff that are very positive, that doesn't count on time, because it really gives them the good attitude that they learn so much. Delegation is very important, at the same time very hard, because when you delegate a task, you want to make sure at the end of the day you don't follow up. And that's my pet peeve. I don't follow up. You come to me and you tell me, where are we? Because this is like, for me, it's like you're constructing my house, right? You're trying to build my house, my dream house. So if you're building one room and you can't even finish it, then let me know.
Mm.
So same with delegation. If you don't know how to finish or complete a task that I gave you, do not come back to me with a problem. Come back to me with a solution.
Mhm. That's really insightful. And I think it also pays off to delegate certain tasks to people that you're confident
Yep.
with. Because you would know the end game of, you know.
Plus,
once-
I think we've been together for more than a year already.
Uh-huh.
So my style is very different.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
style of leadership. I give you all the leeway to do what you can do, and then if you can finish a task, a very simple task, then you just broke my trust. So delegation is very important as a leader because you tend to over maximize, right? Or you undermine somebody, but I don't undermine. The thing is, I pick and choose people that I want to be surrounded with. And I think I said that again, that I became a leader 10, 20 years ago, and this is how my leaders, I think, formed me in a way that you have to delegate the task. Follow up or follow through. If the task is not done, then there's a problem. I think that's how I can say about delegation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very nice.
Mhm.
And then how do you, I know that you really know how to delegate, you know, workflows amongst your staff because you pick and choose, especially those with who are you're confident with. So how do you maintain a clear and consistent communication amongst your team and amongst the units, especially during a high anxiety period during survey?
So first is I have to call my assistant director of nursing, which is you. So if you notice, I always call you. I want to get your input, your insight. What can you tell me about these things? So just like in a layman's term, help me look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically it's the same. If you cover my back, I'm gonna cover your back. But at the same time, I would call you first because a delegation starts from you. I would ask you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
From the time that you will investigate, then the unit manager under you should explain further enough what happened. And I only want to hear it from you, not from anybody else. Because that's delegation and that's the trust that I'm giving you.
Mm-hmm.
So find out what happened. Tell me, is it good, is it bad? Give me the good news, give me the bad news. I want to hear it from you and not from anybody else. And I think you know about that now. It's a secret, but now he knows.
This is Leadership 101 with Miss Maria.
Yes.
We are so lucky to have her right now. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now let's continue on with coordination with other departments. So we're not the only department here. We work with other departments, and at this point, we know how you work within your team. But how do you collaborate with the interdisciplinary team like social work, rehab, doctors, administration, and etc. to resolve issues during a DOH survey?
So I'm gonna go back to your question about communication, right?
Mhm.
You said, how do you maintain clear, consistent communication with all nursing units while reducing staff anxiety? So even if there's no DOH survey, this is me.
Mhm.
I'm always under fire. Or you know, I put fire onto your butt. I have to do that in a way that everyone has to know how it is when there's a DOH survey.
Mhm.
Every day, you notice in the morning report, I question all the things that needed to be questioned. If you don't know the answer, then tell me honestly, right? The same thing with other department. You're a good and everybody a witness to how am I dealing with the morning report. So basically, it's me, my brain telling me ask this question. So dealing with other department means that I am in control of the clinical part. But is this for me? No, it's for the patient. It's always for the good of the patient. So when you communicate things to other department, always think about the patient. Who is the receiving end? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Those are the things that you have to ask yourself. Will I be good? Will I be bad? It's not you, it's for the patient. It's not about thinking about myself. So when you hear me in my another tone of voice, I'm not mad, I'm not angry, I'm passionate. I don't want people to think that I'm always mad. I'm passionate. Because if I'm not passionate, then who should be passionate?
If not us, then who?
So other department, I explained that to other to I think the medical providers, and I told them it's not about being mad, because when I say these things, that means I care a lot. And it's so frustrating when everybody in the same table, in the same room are professionals, and they cannot give me a satisfaction or satisfying answer just for one patient. And I think you would feel the same.
Yes. And
So,
basically, communication with other departments, it shouldn't change. The way we communicate on a daily basis, it's the same thing on the OH survey. It's just more action during a DOH survey because
Right.
we're doing more. But I think the coordination and the communication should still be consistent and should still
Yep.
be there. Yep. Thank you. And now let's move on with directing. Oh, this is very interesting because we're gonna talk about your leadership style. Can you describe your leadership style for us?
you can give me 3 words. I think I'm gonna give back to you your question. So describe to me in 3
Oh,
words, how is my leadership style?
Oh, I would, number 1 for me, your leadership style. How? There's a lot of things going in my head right now, but I think first and foremost, I know that the way you manage us as a leader, it's based on your experience, right? It's based on your experience. It's evidence based. Your leadership is evidence based on your previous experiences, and you. How do I say it? What's another word for OC without saying OC? You are more on the perfectionist side, but of course we have to strive for perfection and excellence because we're dealing with people's lives. One small mistake could kill a patient. And I, for one, would understand why you would prefer to, to be on the perfectionist side. You can be bureaucratic because you also take into consideration the ideas and opinions of the people around you, but you have this tendency to be assertive as well, because if you have a strong opinion about something, you would stand your ground. And I think that's one trait that a leader should have, to know how to stand your ground, right? Because you won't be an effective leader if you're gonna say yes to everybody. And I think I learned that from you, that if everybody likes you, then there's a problem. You can't please everybody. So I think that's my idea of your leadership style based on my experience
Yeah.
with you.
So I think I would put it in one word, because you already said my mantra, right? If everybody likes you, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Not everybody should like you. So my one word, my leadership style is I have a tough love. How I raised my kids is how I'm raising everybody. So if I hurt anyone, it's not meant to hurt anybody, but because I'm very passionate on what I do. Same thing as when DOH, Department of Health is in the building, a survey or a complaint or a call or attorney general or federal is the same. It's the same. I shouldn't be knocked down because I should know what I'm doing, right? You should know what you're doing. So task is task. So I think for me, my leadership style, it all boils down to my tough love to everybody.
And I think as a leader, you have certain expectations and standards that you want us to meet. Of course, it's our responsibility to meet those standards and expectations. And that kind of pressure, I think, is also very important because that's the only way that we would grow as professionals and as leaders. Without that kind of pressure, without that kind of tough love, we would be spoiled brats and we would just do anything we want and we won't be held accountable with our actions.
And think about New York State. We are in New York State. There's 50 states in America. You chose New York.
Yeah.
New York is very liberated.
Yep.
But one thing about New York, they're regulated. So if you know about the regulation, then you're safe to practice, right? And what are the regulations? Follow the residents' rights.
Yep.
That's it. That's very simple. But why is it so hard to follow? So there's a problem.
That's food for thought. Thank you. Oh my god, I'm enjoying this so much. 10 years from now, we're gonna cry again watching this. Okay. We'll talk about staff motivation and morale. I'm very motivated under your leadership, ma'am. So, what are the strategies that you use to motivate and support your staff while maintaining accountability? Not just during DOH scrutiny, but on a daily basis.
I think on a daily basis, I make sure that I ask not everybody, once in a while, how are you? Personal life, the personal level. I want to know more about the person because if you know about the background of a person, then you know how to deal with them. You would understand why is it that there's this person, this specific person is always sad. There's a history to it. And I was just talking to my friend about it. I said, one thing about me, I think God gave me this talent to ask people, how are you? And the how are you is not just a question mark. It's a comma, and I want to know more about it. That's psych nursing, isn't it? So you ask, you listen, and then you look at the person in the eye. Because the person, you're gonna get the trust from that person. Not that I wanted to, but most of the staff I work with, they tell me about themselves. Why? I don't know, because I'm sincere. When I tell you, do this, do that, don't do this, I care. I already know what's gonna happen. And I think you know already because you are a witness to everything. So if I call you on a middle of the night, it's just not to talk, but I want to know more. Is there something that happened? And I think you know about this. It just, I have to ask them. I want to text them. I think the motivation there is the staff. I'm in their trust level because I care so much. So just like the tough love, at the end of the day, we can go out as friends, we can drink, we can eat, we can dine, we can do everything under the sun, trusting that I'm not gonna break that promise.
Oh. I just can't help but be so thankful for your guidance so far, because when you talked about getting into the personal life, you did touch my life on a personal level, And I also chose to open myself up to you because I also have a level of trust that I can tell you certain types of things. And that's very important. I think it's very important, not just as colleagues, but as human beings. And this is just this is an amazing opportunity for me to be under your leadership, to even have this interview and you just talk about this, because right now you are someone that I aspire to become. So everything you're doing right now, I want to know, I want to learn, I want to master, because at some point in my life I want to be on your position.
No, you're
as well.
ready. You're ready. You're ready, Eric.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for saying that, ma'am. But I know I still have a lot of opportunities. I still have a lot of backlogs. And I still have a lot of things to learn. But I just want to tell you right now that everything that we've been through for the past 2 years now, since we worked in the previous facility, I've learned so much. And I've never even imagined that I would be doing this with you, running this facility with you and our team. I would have never imagined that. And I think that's effective leadership. For you to be able to inspire other people you barely know, to open themselves up to you, to submit to you, and to have them follow you and learn your ways. So I think that's definitely, this is definitely an evidence of motivation and morale. Okay, let's move on to supervision and decision making. So how do you ensure that your unit managers or supervisors remain aligned with facility goals throughout the survey process, or even in general?
I think it's very simple. We want to make sure we have a weekly management meeting, and we encourage them to speak their mind. And preparing them means, I want them to be very involved with everything. Good, bad decision will make them a good person. So don't be scared to do some bad decision. Bold decision is even more good, because it is what it is. You will never reach a point in your life where you're just there because you never make a bold decision. Do it. That's it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think that's something that all of us in your team should start doing, to make those
Just do
bold
it.
movements and actions, and really just to open themselves up and just be really involved with what we do. All right, now on to the last section. We're gonna talk about controlling. So for evaluation and monitoring, what systems or methods do you use to monitor nursing performance and ensure sustained compliance?
So we recently got a deficiency for competency and evaluation. So I think I would make sure that on an annual basis, we have a competency and we have evaluation, because that would guide us properly. What's the reason why we're here, right? So I think it's because your title in here is controlling. I think it's about being part of leadership is the evaluation and monitoring. So it's very important for a leader such as us to make sure that we do the evaluation and at least annually. Because I think everybody's aware, evaluation as the word, it's self-defined, right? You evaluate. You have to also evaluate yourself. Am I still an effective leader? Those are the things. It's not only through paper, but through, I think, reality checks. Yep.
And again, I think when you said annual, having it on a regular basis would also help. How about conflicts? How do you address conflicts and misunderstandings that arise amongst your staff?
I think I am a very different person because I attack it head on.
Mhm.
I speak about it from how I feel. So I ask the person, "Do you have a problem?" So I don't elevate it further because you can feel it if there's like a white elephant in the room.
Mhm.
So ask the person. I mean, dealing with conflict when it comes to maybe me, I would ask another department head and say, "You have an issue with the discussion?" Or if it's about something that I said, I would never know about it that I hurt somebody's feelings because I'm just doing my job,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So as a leader, you are doing your job, and at some point you would crush prides and egos.
Uh-huh. That's true. It's better to call it out than to butter
Exactly.
up things.
And I don't butter up things.
Yeah.
You know that.
Mhm.
I would say it. I think you would appreciate me telling you from my mouth than from somebody else.
Yeah, just say it
That means I
straight.
don't talk to you. I don't talk about you to other people
Mhm.
behind your back.
Mhm. That's true. And how about feedback and quality improvement? What long-term quality improvement initiatives were established or strengthened during the DOH survey?
There were a lot because it depends on the deficiencies that we
Mhm.
got from the past year. So basically, we had 19 deficiencies and 18 of them required a plan of corrections.
Mhm.
So basically, you based it on the deficiencies,
Mhm.
and then you will say there's an improvement. The quality, we have QAPI,
Mhm.
we have, now we're doing our separate tasks to divide the whole house, right?
Mhm.
We're doing random checks.
Mhm.
We have someone who's checking the rooms, getting the room prepared, having somebody interview a patient. Is there an issue? The unit managers are more accountable. We make sure that they're accountable for it, such as what? Such as expired medications, right? So anyone that has expired medications, such as say 3 North, 3 South, we make sure we let the managers know, and they are the one, they're empowered to give disciplinary action. So I think basically with where are we now? Quality improvement. So initiative, I would say we have a lot of initiatives, and thankfully so that we are very effective with it because we have audits.
Yes.
Our audits are being done. Is it quarterly? Is it monthly? I make sure that I follow up with everybody. So this is one of my pet peeve. I don't follow up because if I follow up, I already know the answer. So if I don't follow up, I know that you guys are doing it. If I follow up, then that means to say that there's we dropped the ball somewhere along the line.
So basically for this, once the problem has been identified, in which the state identifies the problem for us, we set up action plans for these problems. That's why we have a plan of correction, and then we assign tasks and certain roles to everybody. Make sure that we're doing it, and we do the audits on a regular basis until we are compliant. Thank you. And that's it for planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So now, Miss Maria, we would just, reflect about your leadership and the future directions you have for the team, and anything that you can tell future leaders. What lessons did you personally learn from leading the nursing department through the recent survey?
So let me go backtrack a little bit the advice. So I think I always mention this to everybody. This little key word you will always remember. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. Pay it forward. Because blessings are gonna come your way. Whatever is the guidance that the Lord will give you, it will just lead you to the best people around. So when you pay it forward, I think, God will give you the best people, because He would say for me that go to Maria, because Maria is gonna train you to be a good leader, a good nurse. I don't look at them as competition.
Mm-hmm.
I want to nurture them. I want to make them leaders, because at the end of maybe looking for 10, 20 years, I wouldn't be here. I would be in my house, maybe, be in my rocking chair or whatnot. But you, as leaders, you have to nurture those young leaders. You got to pay it forward, and pay it forward until maybe one or two making a difference. They're gonna go out there and make a difference too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see the whole element of it, it's just a cycle, but it's a good cycle.
It is. And
It's a good cycle. I think my leadership journey, I would say I owe it to Mrs. Nebres. Mrs. Nebres is already been retired for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where is she, but I had my interview on July, I think 7 of 2006. I was applying as a staff nurse. And then when she saw me, she said, "No, I look at you as a leader. You are not a staff nurse." So isn't it, that's what I told everybody here? I don't look at you as a staff nurse. I look at you as a leader. Give them a chance, nurture them, educate them, in-service them. Then you created a leader. So my journey as a leader, I owe it all to Mrs. Nebres. And she saw me, I think, when I became an assistant director of nursing back then. And she said, "I told you, you will do this." And then I said, "Thank you so much." She said, "No, you don't need to thank me. I saw you and your potentials." So when you're doing interview, that's why you saw me and you were there when I'm doing interview. You don't just ask about this person because it's in the resume. You ask further questions. What is your plan? Where are you right now? Those are the specific questions, because you tend to question a person and the objective and the principle at the same time. Yeah, what's my role as a nurse? Not to give medication, but to lead a pack. So I think that's a journey. So,
and I'm just glad to be part of that journey. As I am taking my own journey right now in leadership and management. But I also, again, I just want to thank you, because if I hadn't gotten that call 2 years ago for LICC,
right? Yeah.
if you did not call me, I would have been in a different place. And that
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was such a fateful day.
Yep.
Because days
Yep.
after that I got my license. You congratulated me, and then I immediately started.
That's it.
Yeah, and I had never even saw you in the face. I only saw John when he was driving his car when he was on his way home. But it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Eric.
It's amazing. So, what advice can you give to emerging nurse leaders, such as ADOS like me or your unit managers, handling regulatory challenges?
You're doing it every day. There's no more advice that you needed. You're doing it every day. Keep your routine. There's nothing that you cannot overcome.
Oh.
It's like, it's every day. Make it a routine. Make a routine. Like, you know me, but it looks like I don't sleep, because when the night is quiet, I look at few charts. Right? I look at few charts. And then the soon that I wake up, I thank God, I open my eyes, thank you. I open a chart, just one. From one chart, then you can look at another chart and another chart, and if everything's good, you will not hear from me. So I think it's these are all blessings. I think there's no other way I can say it, but to the blessing that I've been receiving every day, the friends that I have. You don't need a lot of friends. You need quality friends, right? Regardless if they're nurses or not, because those are the friends that you will keep you grounded, and will tell you in your face that's bad. Because if a friend would always tell you yes, 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 then that's not a friend. A friend is somebody who can tell you in your face, regardless, right, that you did a bad decision, you hurt somebody. So I think, I know this is about nursing, but it still will guide you to be a better person, to be a better nurse. So
of course, we have the theory of human becoming.
Yep.
Look it up.
Yep. Yep.
Read on it, but right, it's the theory of human becoming, and that's a nursing
and
theory.
I think my advice is every day when I drive now, I change a little bit of my route. So I listen to audiobooks, self improvement. You listen to a little bit quiet here and there, and you will get a lot of insight. So,
wow. And now we have reached the final part, final word. Miss Maria, what is your message for everybody watching and listening to this show?
As a nurse?
And or as a person in general, because for sure we're gonna rewatch this 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25 years, 50 years from now. As long as we keep this video alive, we want to immortalize this moment.
I want to summarize everything. I want to thank Eric for this opportunity. I think this is a very good, it's not about his master for the masteral, but
that's a bonus.
It's all like impromptu.
Yeah.
So whatever I said here was really coming from my heart. My advice is keep on trying, keep on trying, keep on trying. Believe, believe, believe. It's not about Christmas, it's not about Santa Claus, it's about yourself. So believe in what you can do. Believe in the sense that you can make a difference to everybody every day. I think that's it. Thank you very much.